So here's an incredibly sad and depressing headline for everybody. White House aides reportedly showing Trump selective polls to make him feel good. They treat the guy like a toddler, like a petulant child. That's how they treat him. So Politico says the following, quote, aides in the White House often show Trump polls designed to make him feel good, according to aides and advisors. Usually, they're the ones that focus just on voters who cast ballots for him in 2016. So Trump's base. But occasionally they include public polls like Rasmussen, depending on what the numbers say. So the other day, Trump bragged. And he bragged that he had an approval rating of 46%. Who does that? Less than half the country approves of me, so now I'm going to brag about this. Why? You're bragging that more people dislike you than like you. That makes no sense. But what he did is he was bragging in the context of, I think it was CNN or some other mainstream media outlet saying, oh, Trump's approval rating is in the 30s. He's like, wrong. Fake news. Sad. My approval rating is a whopping 46%. Some people say in the 50s. Okay, nobody says in the 50s, to be clear. He made that part up. But he pointed to the one poll with the highest number for him, which was 46%. So he ended up, it's a self-own. He ended up bragging that, you know, it wasn't a majority of the country that supports him. And by the way, of course, CNN was right on the overall point. When you look at the average of polls across all the different reputable pollsters, it is in the 30 or some odd percent. And then also 2 days later, after he bragged about being at 46%, that poll number in Rasmussen dropped to 42%. So, but the saddest part is, so they'll show him that, you know, show him the best poll of him that there is, 46%, and then he goes and brags and looks like an idiot, not realizing that the average of polls is in the 30s or not caring. But then the other thing they do is they will literally get the poll numbers of people who voted for Trump, what do they think of Trump now? And that number varies, anywhere from like 68% to 72% or so of people who voted for Trump. Trump's base go, yeah, I still support him. So they show him that poll, so he goes, oh, it's a tremendous, people love me. People love Donald Trump, let me just tell you. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But those are the people who voted for you, and only 68 to 72% of the people who voted for you still like you. But he's a fucking simpleton. He's a simpleton. So you just show him that, he's like, oh, that's high. That number's large. Even though, so the percentage of the population that voted for him, he didn't win the popular vote, that's obvious. But then there's a giant swath of Americans who don't vote anyway. So in essence, you're showing him a poll that says, I don't know, maybe 25% of the country still likes the guy. He's like, oh, tremendous. This is amazing. People love Trump. I have to tell you, people are saying unbelievable things about Trump. He really doesn't have, listen, too much is made about there's so much made about the non-policy aspect of politics that I personally hate discussing the non-policy aspect of politics because all the other outlets got that covered. They all treat politics like it's sports coverage and, you know, you're watching like First Take or some shit and some asshole gives his opinion and then some other asshole gives his opinion, you know? And they talk about it like that. Let me tell you what this person said. Now let me tell you what this person did. And they never get to the policy substance. So I honestly hate talking about anything that's not policy related. But with Trump, he's a special case because it really is true that he's not fit to be president. Like, he's not fit. He's a fucking baby. He's a man baby. We showed you that tweet the other day. Remember when he said about Kim Jong-un? I can't believe he called me old. I would never call him short and fat. Why can't we be friends? I try so hard to be his friend. There's a thing that, an extension that changes his tweets into like a 5-year-old writing in crayon, and it looked like a 5-year-old actually wrote it in this instance because the tweet was so babyish. You know? He's not prepared, he's not fit, but nobody's driving the ship. It's not like, you know, sometimes in situations like this you go, oh, well, at least there's person X. I mean, that doesn't really exist. I mean, maybe a little bit, guys like Mattis, but Mattis is not, like, the people who you're relying on are people who you and I disagree with on 80% of the issues. I mean, we're fucked is the point I'm trying to make here. we're just white knuckling it to 2020, and God forbid we get another 4 years of this guy. I mean, and the Democrats are like trying to do that. They're trying to do that. I can't tell you how many articles I've read and how many comments have been made about how, it's Democrats saying, no, there is no such thing as economic anxiety leading to, like, Trump winning. And they try to say, no, it's all because of the racism and the xenophobia and the bigotry. Now, why would somebody make that case? Well, somebody would make that case because that's their way to excuse the corporate Democrats and say, no, there's nothing wrong with the corporate Democrats. The problem is just all the people who voted for Trump are such bad people. That's the point they're making. Those people are so bad, we can never convince them anyway. They're irredeemable deplorables. So the problem has never been the Democrats. It's that people are so irrational that they'd vote for Donald Trump. That's the point that they're trying to make. It's a way to excuse the corporate Democrats and not fix yourself for the next election. Now, look, are there some people who are too far gone in the country who, yes, they did vote for Trump because of the racism and the bigotry and the xenophobia? Yes, they exist. But it's not all of his voters. And to make that case is pathetic and sad. There are people who voted for Obama twice, and then they flipped to Donald Trump. Stop denying that there was an aspect of his campaign that was economically populist, that railed against TPP, that railed against outsourcing deals, that said, I'm going to keep your job here, I'm going to create infrastructure jobs, I'm going to stop the wars. There are some people who listened to that and said, I'll overlook the racism because I think he's going to be better for me for my job. So stop denying that. When Democrats deny that, what they're saying is, let's run another corporate Democrat and hopefully it'll work out this time. But if you say, no, let's run somebody who's on the populist left, and let's acknowledge that, yes, some people who voted for Trump are hurting and they wanted to smash the establishment. Once you acknowledge that, then you can fix it. And then you could say, let's run somebody who's populist left and who will actually beat Donald Trump. So it looks like many Democrats are determined to lose again because all they want to do is shame Trump's voters. That's what they shame, fucking irredeemable, deplorable. This had nothing to do with your economic situation. Really? Nobody voted for Trump because of that? It was a mix of factors. Some people it was racism and xenophobia. Some people it was economic anxiety, the fact that Trump was more populist. Some people it's a mix. But stop writing them all off because then you're going to lose again. Oh, no, don't lose again to this guy. When I read polls like this, I think you got to get your shit together, Democrats. And we're trying. We're trying with Justice Democrats to steer the ship in the right direction, but they're making it difficult. And they shouldn't make it difficult at a time like this when we really do have a man baby in the White House.